Hello to all. My text consists of three parts: the collective voice at the common level, the suspended in the incorporeal event, full sound. At the first part, my emphasis is on the sound of the city, which is a collective sound. Considering the issues of the day and the protest in different places, the collective sound turns into a collective movement, and we can go through previous situations and reach new territories with this movement sound. In the following, I have examined the sound as an incorporeal event. We are in an island that is full of sound around us. We are surrounded by sound. In fact, we are dealing with a complex system. In this condition, we encounter the various of voice, and that can be transformation of a closed system to an open system. In the second part, I will explain about the vibration that is connected to the sense and nervous system. What we hear is the result of kinetic energy and forces. Sounds create singular events that create new percept. And in the third part, the two concepts of full sound and empty sound will be examined, and the relationship between sound and time with regard to news, which is a non-philosophical event, but can be answered with the philosophical question of what is news. The main factor is the sound of news. The news is about current events, which is mostly transmitted to us in two ways, direct and indirect. The potential is sound is a type of vibrational energy. The full sound is connected to percept and sensation, and they create a transformation in us. This sound is on the infinite time. It is ion time, and the empty sound, which is the dominant sound, is connected to the chronological time. The full sound takes us beyond the boundaries of dominant sound.
The collective voice at the common level. The topic that I will discuss about the sound is not the sound that I have produced. The sounds that are, these sounds are the sound of the city, the sound of the community. Is it possible to define a sound identity for the sounds of the city? How is this identity broken? How are common sounds produced? What is the relationship between humans and the sounds around them? How do we relate to sounds as a citizen, someone who walks in nature or any other place? The Canadian composer and theoretician Maure talks about two concepts in sound studies, sound space and sound wandering. Sound space means the sounds we hear when we are in a place or in a spot. Sound wandering is the sounds we hear when we wander or walk. In recent months, protests against the ruling system and unfavorable living conditions have been going on in many countries. In some there is a revolutionary situation. The revolutions can be possible or impossible. In this condition we are facing a situation full of various voices, and this condition of the collective movement is connected to the molecular events before it. It can be a transformation of a closed system to an open system. The interior-exterior movements of the collective voice have the potential of passing the previous territory, and these new experiences territories create new abstract concrete worlds, and we can connect to them. The flows of collective voices create a new territory for the community. This is the voice of desire, a collected desire, a desire that investment in the social. The suspended in an incorporeal event. One finds oneself between sounds, we are hearing the sound of everything else breaking down and raising up. One starts receiving distinctive sounds, encountering the infinity of the sounds, the connection of a heterogeneous collections of sounds like an island that surrounds us. In other words, we are faced with a kind of complexity of sounds. These sounds consist potential s from near or far future. What exists in sound is an oscillation of repeated changes around a far from equilibrium sound system, eternal return or ritornello. For instance, a pendulum within which there is an oscillation of kinetic and virtual energy. Vibration is also a type of oscillating movement that may be repetitive, which creates resonances and produces rhymes. Resonance allows different types of orders enter into the same relationship. Oscillation and its components can be connected to sensation and nervous systems. What we hear is the result of kinetic energy and force. There is a virtual oscillation sensation in the sound that becomes actual. Sounds can create singular events. Connecting heterogeneous sounds can cause vibration/sensation, which then leads to a new perception. There is a virtual action that becomes an actual one in percept. This action is expressed in one's comprehension in terms of his/her space and time. This act can be moved toward other directions, so much so that action movement occurs in a nonlinear system that can take us out of the current situation. Molecular events are linked therefore to the great event, which itself consists of intertwining micro-events. We can consider sound as a phenomenon in the same direction as time. There is a connection between the sound and time, and the space created between sound and times, which it can be conceived as a particular space for micro-events. Full sound. Engaging in news as a professional work can be seen commonly as non-philosophical labor, but it is full of philosophical ideas, even ideas about the nature of news, but it rarely frames that ideas in terms of either classical or modern philosophical theory or discourses. The answer to the philosophical question, what is news, does not start from a deeply philosophical position. News by definition is information about current events. It mostly conveys to us in two different ways, direct and indirect. New analysis is possible by combining sources, checking main arguments, and excludes biases. The main factor in the news is the sound. In fact, the sound is the carrier of the news. This kind of news transfer to us due to potential in the sound waves. Sound is a type of vibrational energy. We can examine two types of voice: full sound and empty sound. Empty sounds are voices that have no meaning in itself and do not connect our mind to anything at the moment of hearing. These are dominant sounds which remain in the frame of common perceiving, frame of journalistic understanding. But full voices lead us beyond frames to events, to becoming. In full voice there is a connection with the unconscious, where the reservoir of secrets exists. Full sounds affect our perception and sensation. Perception/sensation are the generators of imminent events. They connect us to the great event, eventum tantum, in ion time. Aeon's time as being the past, and the future is unlimited/infinite. It is connected to incorporeal events, chronosis the empty and ion full form of time. We can consider the empty sounds in the context of chronological time. Chronological time is a cycle of time in which the present, past and future are connected. Chronos time is limited finite time. The full sound takes us beyond the dominant voice.